We're live. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited about this conversation, everyone. I need to introduce you to my friend, Carmen. Carmen and I first met each other, I want to say it was like 10 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was at least 10 years ago at an event, and we've stayed in touch over the years, social media. Plus, we actually live in the same province, which is really cool. And Carmen and I have had some conversations behind the scenes around your intuition, learning how to trust yourself and navigating a lot of the chaos that's happening around us. This is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. As you guys all know, I've got some free content coming up on September 20th that you're going to want to check out in terms of learning how to create an intuitive relationship with yourself, to trust yourself to navigate chaos. And then Carmen and I have been having some really powerful conversations about how our relationship with our body actually influences what we perceive as like intuitive hits and the clarity of the messages that might be coming through or might not be coming through because of the relationship we have with our body. So I'm so excited to have this conversation. Carmen, do you want to just take a second to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I work on the natural side of healing. So I work alongside naturopathic doctors. So I'm known as a certified nutritional practitioner and also a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And what that means is I'm trained to look for areas of dysfunction in your body via functional lab work. So examples are hormone imbalances, food sensitivities, gut pathogens. So things that your doctor won't do because they're testing for disease. I'm testing for dysfunction, which is your body breaking down en route towards disease. So very preventative. So I'm the creator of the Optimal Energy, which is a program for women in their 30s and 40s who want to hit optimal health, wake up refreshed, feel more confident in their clothes, feel more calm throughout the day. And I do that through working on your hormones. We deal with insomnia, fatigue, weight loss is a big one.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. And yes, place to optimal energy. This is so important because I find for myself, when my energy is not on point and I am like tired, stagnant, feeling like weighed down and burdened, whether it's like collective energy I'm feeling or it's really hard to like do anything, right?
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
And when you're physically more tired, you think more negatively. So I would assume that would affect your thoughts as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and when we talk about this through understanding numerology, I always talk about the energy running in bands of polarity. So, for example, we're in a 5 energy year, 5 energy month right now. This is peak energy. And many of us are noticing it because what the 5 really wants is freedom, pleasure, and play.
Yeah.
And what most of us are experiencing is the polarity of contrast of restriction, burden, heaviness, stuckness, feeling weighed down and held back. And that's the polarity of the 5. So like, what would you say for people who are trying to like learn how to like enhance this relationship with themselves to get these messages more clearly?
Well, I think that the healthier you are, the cleaner you eat, the more you're eating your ideal diet for your body, I would expect that would make your intuition a lot more accurate to read, because we know that when you're physically depleted and feeling tired, we think more negatively. So we're more likely to go to that dark place in our head and, spin that negative wheel of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm too old. All of these negative things come up. But if you're feeling good and you're more stress resilient, you'll be able to turn those thoughts off and really focus on good things. And you're more in tune with your body. So I would expect from what you do that would really help your intuition, because you're going to be so much more clearer and healthier.
Yeah, I love that. So when you're working with people, like, how do you get to that place of knowing? Like, how do I even know for me what those things might be?
Like what your ideal diet and stuff is? So there's a few different ways that I do it for women, because I like to take away all that confusion, especially when we're dealing with fat loss, which is such a big thing that women want. Is, we get pulled, well, should I go plant-based? Should I go keto? Should I go low carb, right? We get pulled into all these different diet types, trendy diets. But at the end of the day, what you need to be doing is eating what works best for your body. So how I do that is I take your genetics into consideration, so we can test for this, and that gives me clarity over the macros you should be eating. So for some, for example, some women, I don't know if you've ever heard of a woman that went on the keto diet and she gained weight. Why didn't it work for her? So we can look at your genes, and some people have to eat lower amounts of saturated fat to lose weight. Other women need more fat. Some women do need to go lower carb to lose weight. What I discovered with my own, trial and error frustration of weight loss was I actually need more carbs. So you got to eat according to your body type. Some women who have a slower metabolism, they need more protein. I have theoretically the fastest metabolism, so I need lower protein. If I eat too much, my body will become inflamed, and that will lead to weight gain and brain fog and fatigue. So the genetics gives one part of the picture. Other things I look at is your body type. So where do you naturally put fat and muscle on your body? So are you a curvy type like a Kim Kardashian pre-plastic surgery? Are you more athletic, or are you more like straight, right? And slim. So that plays a role. I also like to look at food sensitivities. Because you could be eating foods that are theoretically healthy, but if your body is reacting to them and creating an immune system response, that in itself is going to lead to inflammation, weight gain, brain fog, depression, fatigue. So we need to clear those things out. So there's a bunch of things that I use, and then I help women to eat their ideal diet. And what's great about that is then it's more sustainable and easy for you to stay on it long term. Another thing that we don't think of, and this is what I do with my clients, is you have to eat differently depending on where you are in your cycle. Right? I don't know if you've heard of this, but on day one, when you start bleeding, your estrogen is higher. So you need to eat to support estrogen versus when you're day 14, when you're ovulating, and the week leading up to your period, you have to eat differently then too, because your blood sugar is more unstable. So you're more likely to crave, sugars and stuff, and you need more calories at that time. So we also have to look at that, and also life stage. If you're perimenopausal or in menopause, there's another way of eating to support your hormones there too. So there's a lot, but I like to simplify it. I give you the plan, and then that makes you feel great. You're going to have more energy. You're not going to be bloated. Your brain fog's gone, and then your intuition's going to be better.
I love that. Okay, so this is like what I'm taking away from this right now, that I just think is so cool. Like, number one, when you aren't honoring what your code is different, right? We can calculate it and figure out what it is. But if you understand your energy code and you make decisions align with that, you align the type of business or career you have with that, the way you engage with your clients in that way, the way you navigate decisions in that way, it actually starts to reduce, same thing, the brain fog, the overwhelm, the fatigue, because you're not pushing against something that's not you. Right? Like, we're not trying to fit into a box of like you're like, oh, the keto box, or oh, the whatever box. And it's like, we're not, the world will tell us everything. The world's like, you should this, you should that, don't do this, don't do that. And the world is like, doesn't know who we are. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Conditioning makes me crazy. It's like we're taught that, this is the way to be. This is the right way to be, with food, with our energy, with all of it. And to me, it's such a beautiful unraveling when we can say, you know what, this is what I know in my heart as to who I truly am. This is the core of my body makeup, the core of my energy makeup, the core of how I function optimally. And like, let me just actually radically choose that for myself. Right?
Yeah. And I think to add to that, Megan, like when you're working with your clients and you're helping them get into that meditative state, your nervous system needs to be more parasympathetic, right? Which is when you're calm. But what happens if you're eating food of which you're sensitive to, it puts you into fight or flight. You're going to have elevations of cortisol. So to keep it really simple, let's say you eat eggs, you react to eggs, your body's going to release cortisol to deal with that inflammation that was created. But then that puts your nervous system into fight or flight. So it kind of gives you a mini adrenaline rush. So if your body is going there in the nervous system, you're going to be more stressed, irritated, anxious, overwhelmed. You're not going to be in that place you're going to become too impatient to meditate and to really tap into what your body is telling you. So it's just another reason why you want to eat cleaner for your body type, so you'll be function better in the intuition part.
This is amazing. Like, I had
It all makes sense, eh?
Right? And I had no idea that like a food sensitivity contributes to being in a fight or flight state. And
for sure.
It makes so much sense when you think about it. And it's like, yeah, your body is reacting to it. And I think it's so true what you say. Like, people are like, my intuition is not telling me anything. And it's like, they're just so quick to be like, no, I feel nothing. No, what's next? No, this. And we're just in this constant state of pushing, striving, trying to accomplish, rather than being like, okay, what if I literally gave myself like 30 seconds of stillness before I made a decision? Right. And it's like, knowing, what I just ate for lunch is going to contribute to how that 30 seconds is going to unfold is pretty powerful, right? And allowing us to actually be like, how do I create this relationship of trust with myself so that I can hear the messages of what's right for me and actually move forward from there?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Just blown away. Okay. So, for people who might be listening and they're like, well, okay, so what do I do about this? What do I do? Like, say I've been feeling this brain fog and this fatigue, or say I've been feeling like super stressed. Like, stress seems to be the default state these days. It's like normal. So like, what do I do? Tell me what to do.
You called me. Or you work with another practitioner that like and trust. What I do when I first work with a woman is I run all her labs in the beginning, and I test, I don't guess. And then based on those results, I build out the plan for her. One thing that I think would be important to mention is that we can become, especially in our culture where, we're taught business is good and we're all stressed out and burnt out and tired, we can actually become addicted to the foods that we're sensitive to, because it does give you a mini adrenaline rush. So some people become addicted to that because it's the only source of energy they get. So that is one thing to look out for. But I think it's important to mention, because I think you and I were talking about eating intuitively, right? And I want to mention that I do agree with eating intuitively, but you can only do it when you're eating clean and you know what your optimal diet is. And the reason why is there's a lot of nutritional dogma out there. Like, my industry is crazy, right? There's the carnivore people, the keto people, the vegan people. And when you're in that world, that changes all of your belief systems, this external conditioning that happens. And like, for my own self, I was on a plant-based diet for 17 years. And I really believed with every cell in my soul that it was the optimal diet for me. And it wasn't until I was doing my training in functional nutrition in the States that I had to run all of these labs on myself as part of the program. And that's when I had a massive rude awakening. I was so far from what I thought was optimal. My hormones were in the basement. I was concerned that I would never be able to conceive a child in my future. My cortisol was in the basement. My sex hormones were not where they should have been for my age. And I was reacting to all of these foods that, if you're vegetarian, you need to eat to get your complete protein. And it was a reality check that just smacked me, because I really truly believed I was healthy and was eating right. And it wasn't until I switched on to my now diet that I realized, holy crap, I was so far from what I thought was good. Like, I can't tell you how much more grounded I feel. Like, I'm so much more grounded, stress resilient. I don't get spikes of anxiety like I used to anymore. So I think now that I'm eating the right diet, I can tap in and listen to my intuition about what my body wants to eat, versus before, what I thought I wanted was more based on dogma as opposed to what my body actually needed. Yeah.
Like, I just really wanted to take that in for a minute, because this is like an epidemic of outsourcing our power.
Yeah.
We don't even realize, right?
Yeah, I like
We live
that.
in this world where it's like, this is the right thing to do, and I need the expert to tell me the right thing to do. And then we internalize that belief and we're like, I'm doing all the right things. This is
Mhm.
ideal for me. This is optimal for me, you know. And the stories that I always share about me growing up was that I was told I talk too much, a lot, right? And before I really embraced that part of myself, I had internalized that the right way to be was to be quiet, hold back your opinions, assess the situation before you speak, right? That's the right way to be. And that's what I internalized. And so I was like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing here. I'm being like good, doing the right thing. This is appropriate. This is the way you should be. And it wasn't until I really dove into my code to be like, oh, like I actually am meant to like express myself for some very particular reasons. And there's a
Yeah.
certain energy alignment it creates when I do. And so now I'm like, yeah, I process out loud. And yeah, I share the ideas as they flow and as they come, because this is part of the code that I carry that I'm meant to. And the
Mhm.
crazy thing is, it's like now that I fully embrace that, the way I'm able to speak and connect and share and teach and mentor is so much more aligned in my career than the way I was doing it in the past, where I was like a murky, foggy version of myself, and people couldn't connect with me energetically the way they can now. So I love that there's so many parallels in all of these industries of like who we think we need to be, and then we internalize it,
Mhm.
versus like what's actually optimal for ourselves, and like truly
Yeah.
taking time to connect.
Yeah. And that's funny because I'm the opposite of you. I'm the one that holds back my thoughts. I don't talk enough. I hold back opinions and stuff. And I've always thought I should be the opposite and express myself more. So it's so funny how the grass is always greener. We always think we should be that other person, right? Rather
Totally.
than nourish who we truly are.
Nourish who we truly are. And a lot of times it's like you've got that influential teacher or your parents or somebody that was important in your world. Their energy, their code, their whatever is a little different than yours. And you model yourself after them,
Yeah, it's
not
true.
realizing that we each carry unique energy for a very particular reason, like optimal functioning of our body, and optimal relationship with our energy and our intuition, and knowing how to align with that power center within us. So, this
Yeah.
has been such a fun conversation. People who are listening, definitely find Carmen online through Instagram or Facebook or your website. What's the best way? Like, where do you normally hang out?
Instagram is my favorite.
Yeah.
So at Carmen Dunn Nutrition, and Dunn is spelled Dunn. I'm also on Facebook / Carmen Dunn Nutrition. So fairly easy to find me there. One fun thing that I could add if we've got time is with regards to intuition that I would say to tap into or listen for is when your body is telling you want certain foods.
Mm.
There are times where your body will be like, I need chocolate, or you're just like, oh, I really want chocolate right now. Or maybe it's like, oh, I just really need to jump into a steak. And those are your body communicating to you about certain nutritional needs. So your body will tell you, it's communicating with you. It's like, hey, I need more sugar right now. That's why you're craving, sweets at a cafe or something. It's about getting your blood sugar up. A lot of women around before their period will crave chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is your body in that phase is trying to produce progesterone, and it needs magnesium, which is an ingredient to make it. And your body knows that chocolate is a source of magnesium. So that's why you'll crave it. So really cool stuff about when your body communicates to you, to listen to it, because it'll tell you very important messages. Yeah.
I love that. And it's like, yeah, just taking the time to like slow down and like connect with that and listen for a minute. That's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom. I appreciate it so much. Like I said, everyone, make sure you connect with Carmen on her platforms and reach out to her. If you're like, how does this, what do I, this is what's going on for me, like message her. She's amazing. She'll totally help you out. So thank you,
That's
Carmen.
awesome. Oh, my pleasure.